What is a womanist read-in? I'm here with Emma Robinson from talking-back.com, and I'm Kathy Bartoli from the intimacydojo.com. And Emma, you're going to be you're going to having a womanist read-in at Woodhull Sexual Freedom Summit in a couple months. What is one, and why would someone want to go to one?
So a womanist read-in is designed to frame reading time with social time, while imagining a future where access to what I call revolutionary texts, so womanist texts, feminist texts, philosophical texts, things that inspire you to think in a more broad sense,
Yeah.
were the norm. If these were the books that filled the libraries as opposed to um, like bookstores full of self-help books and
Yeah, what a beautiful vision.
yes. So that's what I want to kind of create with people. And then also just to create an environment where we are learning together after formal schooling ends,
Yeah.
because it's important to decentralize education and for us to imagine a world where people who go to four-year universities and Ivy League schools aren't the only people that we can think of as experts. But the first
Absolutely.
way we begin to do that is to decentralize learning in general. Learning can't just happen in schools, and it
Yeah.
can't be something that happens completely alone. It has to be something that is a social act that
It's a
we are
community sharing.
intentionally like making happen and like making learning part of our lives in a different way.
Oh, I love that. I guess like I don't know how accurate historically it is, but I imagine before we had TV and radio and stuff, people would
Yeah,
sit around and share read with each
yeah,
other, and it seems like very like a cozy, comfortable, connected way to share ideas and get exposed to different thoughts.
yes. But it's also so because I bring 150 books.
Oh wow.
So I have like a mobile library, and
Oh
because I
fun.
bring that many books, no one reads the same thing.
Yeah.
And so you're getting the first snapshot of what someone who's never heard about feminism is learning,
Mm.
like for the first time, or what someone who's never read anything about carceral abolition, because that's a huge word that people aren't really thinking about getting rid of the prison systems. But if
They should.
so exactly. But like if you read this book on accident and then learn about the horrors of the carceral system, you're more inspired to continue that learning on your own. So
Well, yeah, somebody, especially
yeah,
for carceral stuff, like people are like, I consider myself pretty aware, and I was just doing an interview with someone about that, and I was like, I had no idea it was that bad. Like, and I think a lot of people are like, no, let's not look, but we
yeah.
have to be
And
aware.
that's actually part of why I want to do this project, because there are a lot of social ills that we talk about as far as movement work is concerned that have their roots in us not wanting to look at things that aren't pleasant.
Yeah, it's
And so, like,
uncomfortable, so I'll just pretend it's not there.
yes, let's put it in a jail. We don't want to talk about poverty, so let's
We'll
just
put it
put
behind walls
cruelty.
and pretend it's not affecting
Exactly.
me, so what do I care?
Exactly. So this project is an effort to create a space where people have to look at each other and learn in front of each other and like stumble and sometimes get it wrong, but
Yeah.
also understand that like maybe the collective is not out to get you.
What?
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe other human beings are not trying to fuck you over. Maybe other people want to learn just like you do and like see
What?
that not just like people on TV or like famous folks, but like regular people are interested in this stuff just like you are. We are
Oh,
all into this. We all want a better world.
we do,
Right.
and we have to be somewhat aware to make that
Yes,
happen.
yes, that's the first step.
Yeah, I love it. It's what a generous idea. Is this the first time Woodhull, will that be the first time you've run this particular focus?
No, but I am bringing, so because it is Woodhull, I am bringing more books around sexuality.
Uh-huh.
So I have been getting books. So okay, I've been getting books about women and their relationship to socialism, because a lot of that is rooted in sexual expression and like our ability to make babies
Uh-huh. What our
and
right to not make
expression.
babies or have babies and keep
So I'm
them and
like trying to make the whole story in the selection of books that I'm bringing. So I have books on like courtesans,
oh
and
nice.
I have books on the Mayflower Madam. I have a couple of books on how to do sex work on the internet.
Oh,
They're probably irrelevant now because of SESTA,
yeah.
but yeah, but yeah. So I'm trying to like bring like a more sexually specific like smattering of books too, because I think that is a huge part of a lot of oppressions, just rooted in sexuality and sexual oppression. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I love that. And I love just people being able to talk about, like, talking together and seeing each other's expressions, or someone saying, oh, I didn't know about that. And the books that people, I guess, if they're picking randomly, like, I'm going to hear things that we're kind of blind. Like, I have a comfort zone and things that I want to be activisty about. And then someone else picks a different book, and I'm like, oh, that links to mine, but I didn't ever look at
yes,
it that way. So,
yes.
oh,
So I
that's,
work for a reproductive justice org
uh,
called the India Center. And my executive director, Marcia Jones, is really, really serious about making it clear that reproductive justice is everything.
yes.
And so, like, that concept has really informed this project in a big way, because thinking in terms of like, no, resistance is not disconnected from anything. Like, there are all these myriad ways we can resist, and we do have the obligation to like take stock of our own privilege and find ways to resist,
Yeah.
to actively resist. And so, like, learning how things connect to each other helps us put that puzzle together in a better way. And it helps to, I don't know, there's something, I think, like, when you're only doing your learning like online or by yourself, and you're like just on Facebook and stuff,
It's
like, you
awkward,
can't
and
think
there's,
in a silo, like,
yeah.
go down a rabbit hole.
Well, and
You,
there's been times when I've done that, and I've like really put a lot of effort in it, and I thought I had it. Like, and then I started talking to someone, and it's like, oh, no, you have that, like, that term isn't quite right, or like, no, you're using that wrong. And I'm like, oh, ow. So thank you
yeah.
for telling me, but oh, I thought I had it. And
And it feels, it's such a like kind of humiliating experience for someone to tell you that you don't know
yeah,
something.
but I'd
And
rather
we need
know
to
than
be
walk
able to
around with
tell
the
each
spinach
other
in my
that.
teeth. Yeah.
Yes, we need to be able to tell each other that, like, no, actually, this is how that's pronounced, or actually, this is what that means, or actually, this is how that applies to this, in like in person, in front of each other, so that you can't pretend that someone's being malicious, or
Yeah.
like that it's someone from your middle school and they're like dragging
Or
you in
like,
public.
haha, you did it wrong. It's like, no,
No.
here, let's all.
Yes, yes. Let's all like learn as adults and
Yeah.
understand that no, I'm not always right. You're not always right, and that's the game. That's the
Well,
point.
so much of this, like, I've been following consent for a while, and like the nuances around it have changed. So like, if I had just like time traveled from 5 years ago till now, and I was using the same language, it wouldn't really, there'd be something off on it, because we've got so much more context and so much more education about it.
And we want that. That's
Yes,
the point. Like,
it's good.
ideally, I want to always be wrong because the information is grown.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, and
that's
that means I'm growing too, and you're growing.
yes,
We're all growing.
like something new. Yes,
Yeah. Thanks so much for doing this.
absolutely.
So why did you choose Woodhull as a venue for this?
Um, well, because I wanted to, I did want to interrogate the ways that sex and sexual expression and sexuality are kind of really, really the roots of a lot of oppressions.
Yeah.
And I read about some of the sessions from last year, and I was like, I have to go. Let's go.
I love the conference.
Yes, but I also knew that when you get in a room of people who are there specifically to interrogate the ways that sex and sexuality and sexual expression are like sources of huge oppressions, they're going to be looking at these books through that lens.
Yeah.
And so I was excited to hear what the conversations will be
Yeah.
in that space, even if it's something that's like, I also have children's books because like
Oh, fun. Yeah.
it is a reproductive justice issue, like economic justice is a reproductive justice issue.
Yeah.
And so women are cut off from each other because they have kids and can't access learning in the same way. And so I have kids books, but like even there are some kids books that you can look at through that lens and interrogate like, oh, this is reinforcing this stereotype. Why would you teach this to a little girl? Or like,
Yeah.
those kind of conversations, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah,
Like,
Prince Charming's gonna come and rescue you, and you
yes,
have to wait.
yes,
Ugh.
yes. That's I wanna hear what the conversation is gonna be like. Every single conversation is completely unique, and it is really determined by the people in the room. And so I'm excited to see what it looks like.
I love it. I'm so excited about this offering. I hadn't thought of doing. I'm like, I wonder how I could. I don't want to steal your idea, but like, I have meetups. I'm like, wonder if we could like just randomly bring an article we want to share or something like that, and just share and talk about that.
So that is actually that's a thing. I do those too. They're
Oh,
called
neat.
close reading. Yeah,
Yeah.
where you just bring like a specific piece of text, like a poem or something like that, and you just discuss it. You tear it apart. Like, what does this mean? What does this mean? But with various people, and everyone comes to the conversation knowing what we're going to tear apart. So they have like references that they bring that
Wow.
are completely random that you've never heard of, and so you should do that. That's an amazing idea. You should do
Wow.
that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like it's great. And I can't wait to see your presentation and what you create with everybody at Woodhull.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm really stoked.
Yeah. Oh, thanks so much. And if people want to reach out to you, can they find you on? They can go to your website at talking-back.com.
Yes, as well as womanistreadin.com.
Oh wow, wonderful. Well, Emma, thank you so much. I'd love to talk to you again sometime if you want to share some other ideas.
Thank you.